Alright, so game number 3 is going to be on Neo Jade. Alright, so at the top left location we have the brown pearls, dsaqwe. And at the bottom left on Neo Jade we have the white Zerg minus trutacz. So the question now is, in this map, which is a 4-player map, these kind of Zerging things can be a little bit more tricky, although the natural, it's not that wide, it's slightly wide. It's a little bit difficult to wall in this position. I think it's actually a little bit easier, but we'll see what exactly goes for it. Now we see that dsaqwe this time decided to actually scout with his probe early on, not just make the pylon and then the forge. So probably he will think that he might get away with like scouting the Zerg in the first position and then maybe make a Nexus first, but he will go for the forge first. I don't know if that's actually tight in here. We will see about that. Now, so we see trutacz going for the 12th hatch, I think it is, and then a pool. And unfortunately for the dsaqwe, he did make his forge before the Nexus. It's still okay because he's actually going to skip the cannons, at least for now, so he can put the gateway sooner and get the gas. So he will. His build is still relatively good. Now, once the pool is finished, we see no Zerglings whatsoever being made. So far there's no Zerglings at all by trutacz. So trutacz, both players have kind of gone the extreme kind of economic way, but a cannon still has to be placed just in case. Now the third is going down for trutacz in a possible place where he can take a fourth easily. And at the same time we do have a core also pretty fast. Now the layer is just starting now. I think it's about even considering the normal timings. And I wonder though if trutacz will try to do something different this game, because I mean, when these players usually play at finals, bear in mind, guys, that it's most of the time they've been playing a few games already, so they might get also a little bit, you know, stressed or tired from the games. I don't know at what time the games were played, so we'll see if that plays into them, you know, going for a more aggressive idea. And there's another reason why I don't usually like to cast games this late, and it's because I kind of tend to miss more things. It's not as interesting. I'll have less energy also, so that's kind of also there. We do see 2 Zerglings already blocking the ramp so that a probe can't get out, can't get in to scout. And the spire is coming up, so another hatchery, 4 hatcheries, probably another one relatively soon somewhere in here. So far pretty standard by trutacz, and it seems like actually the dsaqwe is also going for a standard build. So I mean, in a standard game when nobody is actually doing any kind of damage, it's true that it's probably going to be good for trutacz, I would say. We'll see though. Yeah, I know it's not that late, but it's not just about the fact that it's late. I mean, usually I kind of have a job where I wake up at 6 AM, so I'm used to that time schedule. So by now, I'm actually a lot of hours into being awake. No, I don't think it's drop tech. Doesn't seem so. So, Citadel of Adun and Corsairs constantly being produced. So, seems like a lot of Corsairs are going to be coming forward at dsaqwe now. We do see an armor coming down already for the air, and I think that's maybe because trutacz actually knows a little bit of how dsaqwe likes to play with this. Yeah, but Blue World doesn't pay for your, you know, for your food. So, and so I would say that if again we have a game where trutacz is able to get a lot of scores with an armor, and then at the same time get a lot of economy, he might be in a good position. Yeah, Grumpa's dead, so that's not gonna work. Okay, so we have higher speed coming up. Do we have speed for overlords? Yes. So far extremely standard. None of the players are actually getting any kind of ahead point. There's actually a lot of zealots coming in here, but the wall seems to be pretty solid. There's like no way to kind of run in. So pretty good SimCity so far by trutacz, and I think that's actually going to give him enough. This place is actually well defended because there's enough units. And we do see a lot of Corsairs being produced, so there's definitely a possibility for trying to get some overload kills, but if trutacz gets enough Scourges, because he's still getting another +1 armor, if he gets enough Scourges, he can actually probably deal with his Corsairs. Now, Zealots are +1, there's no upgrades yet for trutacz, which means that... Oh, he's going in a Hydra strong like style with +1 attack on Hydras. Now, these Hydras don't even have speed yet, so they have to be really careful there. Oh, okay, 1 hit. And 2 hits, that actually kills 1 Corsair. And there's a lot of Hydras actually going third to deny that. At the same time, I do think that overload speed, yeah, overload speed is done. So there's a lot of actually Hydras that can try to contain, and now we do see some High Templars. Do we have Storm done already? I think so, yeah. So there's definitely not going to be easy to break through this, but a contain is a possibility. Oh, a very good Storm, and a decent Storm. So far Storms have been doing really well. And so far I don't see a 4th for trutacz, which I think he can actually afford, but... I mean, the Corsairs are still flying around. They're still probably going to try to get a kill or two, while the army is still going to be growing for the dsaqwe. So trutacz has to be slightly careful with these Hydras. Corsair is getting like damaged a little bit. Okay, no connection there. And these Corsairs are going to start to get some overload kills, which is actually pretty bad because actually trutacz is already supply blocked. So every single extra overload kill is actually really going to become like really problematic. But alright, so yeah, but tomorrow I also have to do a lot of casting. So alright, so what else can we see now? The 4th is being taken by trutacz before the 3rd is even established by the dsaqwe, but if the army is big enough to kind of get out and roll through with the supply blocking, that can actually be a problem. Now we do see a huge jump into a lot of 125 supply for trutacz, so he did make a lot of overlords. Alright, so what's the next step really for trutacz? I mean, he's going Hydra so far, he's getting Lurker tech, so that's probably a good idea. At the same time, we do see a 3rd starting to be established by the dsaqwe. Alright. So let's put it by 2 again. There's nothing actually happening right now. We do see Corsair still flying around, trying to figure something out. And we do see trutacz actually trying to be active on the map with his own army, but he has to be very careful because of the Corsairs. If the Corsairs, as you can see, they're flying around where the army is not, and they're still getting some kills. So, oh, that was a very good connection there. Now, some Hydras are getting to the 3rd, and it seems like they might get some cannons, but that's about it. And at the same time, we do see some Lurkers already being prepared to kind of contain this location, so we'll see if that's a possibility. Now, trying to do a double attack, if you look at the supplies, they're actually quite close. So definitely there's actually a possibility for a lot of damage being done. Now, do we have observers already? I don't see any observers. Do we have an observatory? Yes. So probably the observers, if they're not out yet, they should be here momentarily. So this contain, it's not that big yet. And there's not actually too many units in here, so by the time that this actually goes, oh, a observer does get sniped, and High Templar gets sniped, so these Lurkers can still contain. Oh, there's an observer here, so it's not a big of a problem. But this Lurker, how many kills did it get? None? This one got 1, so where are all the probes? There's no probes in here. So I'm assuming that most of the probes are actually back in the natural, which is a problem because if the probes have to go through this Lurker field, and the Lurker field is well established. Oh my god, I missed completely that. I missed the Dark Temple drop, guys, completely. So DT drop takes a 4th down, and with that, if the 4th is down and this is breached, then I'm assuming that's going to be a problem. Now, Storm here, yeah. And some Lurkers coming up from the other area, but yeah, Storm is going to get both Lurkers. And this container is starting to now fall apart slightly. Like, these are mostly like 4 hydras only. There's a few hydras in here. There's 3 base versus 3 base. Not even a good saturation. This base definitely should be able to survive if you look at the... Okay, so sniping some observers, which is fun, considering that it's only like 3 hydras, but they're actually getting the snipes. And there's still some observers, like, even here, so this thing should not be even a problem for the dsaqwe now. I mean, I think we can resume mining on the 3rd without too much trouble. Still some hydras piling up, and we've seen before how Eonzerg actually managed to kind of win a game like this. It was him who won, right? Well, it's still quite close, so there's a possibility that this actually can still work. These 3 locals will go down, however, the army of the dsaqwe is not that big, so definitely, I mean, there's a possibility that this can break him. See, there's still actually a lot of locals down here, so... Oh, some high-tempo snipes? No! An arc could be made. Okay. Yeah, this is from the last week. This is from TLC16. We didn't actually get to cast the finals. Oh, all those probes! We didn't get to cast the finals because there was no time actually for that, so we're trying to get them now. So, obviously, this doesn't look like it should be a good position for trutacz because it's 3 base versus 3 base, but he's actually making it work. His upgrades are really nice, and at the same time, there's actually not that many probes in the 3rd, so this might actually work for trutacz, even with just not too many bases. Okay, this is going to be problematic because now the lookers are kind of in a position where going through this choke will actually be a problem. So another observer gets sniped. We still don't see a 4th by trutacz. And this has like a lot of cannons. This would be difficult to break now. I mean, in a way, I guess this should work, but for trutacz, it's just like... It seems so odd that a Protoss has 3 base versus 3 base and he still cannot like defend. Especially since this is a mid-tier composition. So... Alright, so... Whew. I guess, unless there's something like a drop or, you know, some Corsairs getting some kills, then basically... Oh, we do have some drops. Oh, a shuttle is gonna, like, take his probes to the 3rd. Someday now. And we do see a 4th now being established by trutacz, so... Yeah, Reapers would be good, but at this point neither player has too much economy, and with good micro, with these hydras, you can actually get to snipe them, so... I mean, you wouldn't want to wait for the Reavers to break out. That's kind of the problem at this point in the game. And there's so many lurkers right now that breaking through in any other way is actually going to be really inefficient. As I said, we do see the probes now flying out to get to the 3rd, but we do see double expansion by trutacz now, so... this seems like the game is actually going to go to trutacz, I think, because of the way that... If he can keep this contained for a while, and at the same time get more and more bases... the contain starts to fall down. And some observer snipes, no... Oh, that observer might get sniped. Will it? Will it? Yeah. And another observer. How many observers died in this game? Like, the problem is that Dragoons actually do very poorly against Hydras. The Hydras are at 2-2, while Dragoons are at 2-0-0. So they're becoming less and less efficient. As you can see, actually now trutacz is, I think, in the first time in the game, he's actually ahead in supply. And taking a 4th is pretty much impossible right now for dsaqwe, unless he gets a sneaky expansion, which would be really, really surprising. Now, okay, we're gonna speed this up a little bit because, again, guys, this is mostly about this is contained, and if the contain is maintained, the game should go to trutacz, unless there's something like drops, which already, you know, Overlord should spot at this point in the game. So some good storms, but yeah, small skirmishes there. So dsaqwe will GG after he just basically couldn't break this foot way too long.